Hey guys, how's it going? Today we have a special project we're working on here in Erin's parents' garden. We have been in this space a few times throughout the past few years, but today we are going to be working on a bunch of mulching. And it's a gorgeous morning. It's supposed to be 76, blue skies, no wind. It's lovely. Perfect day for this project. Now this is Erin's mom's Mother's Day gift. We decided the other night, we were here with the kids, we were outside playing, and she was talking about how this year is a mulching year. And broke the shovel. We're also removing a couple of, so that's part 2 of Mother's Day gift, a new shovel, perhaps. They're removing a couple euonymus shrubs in the back, and we're going to be putting some boxwoods in the place of that before we mulch back there. But anyway, we were here the other night with the kids, and she was talking about how it's a mulching year, and you guys know how that is. Oftentimes we don't mulch every single year. Sometimes we can get away with going a year or 2 between mulching. But this year she was talking about how it needs to be done again and how she'd really like to try using some compost like we use in our beds. Now we get our compost bulk because we can move it around, you know, with the tractor bucket. Here in this garden we are using bagged compost. In fact, we're using the same stuff my parents use in their flower beds. It's easier to use bags when you've got like tighter areas to work around in. Anyway, I'm really excited for it. Everything's looking so good too. First of all, look at this Chanticleer pear. It's absolutely alive with blooms and honeybees. You can hear the buzzing sound. I don't know if you guys can through the camera, but I can hear it. It's looking so beautiful, and things are just starting to wake up. Look at the Brennera. Look at the beautiful blooms. So we'll be starting up here, mulching these flower beds. And then we will work down the side yard here. One side has rocks, so we won't have to worry about that side, but we'll be mulching in this area. We've got a raspberry patch going on here. This is our old garden on the other side of the fence. And then we'll work our way this way. You mean just the whole area. You can see Paul and Bethany are with us today. They're working on that euonymus shrub. We love spending time back here though. The kids play on the play set. Sue usually grows she had some dahlias back here. She can grow tomatoes back here. This maple tree was like a little seedling that popped up in her front flower bed one year. And she moved it back here, and it's now a beautiful big tree. You can see some of the daffodils that we came and planted a year or 2 ago. But we thought you guys might like to come along for this project because watching mulch go down, it's so satisfying. I love watching that sort of thing. It just kind of tidies everything up. It's kind of like when we added the gravel to Alyssa's garden yesterday. It just makes me feel motivated to get after it and add more pretty things. It makes me want to be in the space more, and using the compost, it'll be a nice, good additive to the soil. It'll be beneficial for the plants. But with all 4 of us, because we got Erin and I here and Paul and Bethany, we should be able to whip through this project pretty quickly. So let's get after it. All right, guys, we got it all done, front and back, every single flower bed. It looks so nice. It took the 4 of us just about 3 hours, maybe slightly under, but that did include a lunch break, and we had to go get another pallet of compost. So we went all the way home and I watered the greenhouse and the vegetable garden, and then we came back after we loaded up that extra pellet. We actually finished with land and sea compost, and I'm not quite sure why we didn't start with that, except for we're not used to using it as a mulch on all of our flower beds at home because ours are so big. But we could have done it here. I'm not sure exactly what we're thinking. It looks great though. Erin's doing some touch-up work. That's looking nice. But look at this, you guys. Now, Sue did mention that she usually waits until the petals fall off of the pear tree right here to do the mulching up here, but we're just going to bring some extra bags. I just wanted to see the whole thing done from start to finish. We'll bring extra bags that we can top dress later after that happens. But it's just nice to use compost every once in a while, even if you don't use it every single time, because you know it is a lot finer. So the likelihood of weeds taking root and stuff might be a little bit greater than if you use mulch that's more chunky, but it's kind of like you're getting so many different things when you use compost. You're getting nutrients for your soil, for your plants. You know, it's already broken down into like that soil consistency, so it's going to mix in with your native soil a lot easier and quicker. And it's also, I mean, it tidies everything up like mulch does. So anyway, I love it. And you know, we've noticed a marked improvement in our flower beds since we switched over to using compost as mulch. But look at this. Doesn't that just look so nice and tidy? I love it so much. And then we swung around. I'm trying to go slow, guys. This is Erin and my old yard. This is the yard where Garden Answer started, you guys. Oh, I can't even believe it. But we started right here. There's rock in this bed, so we didn't have to worry about that. We went right in front of the boxwoods. And we went down this. This is the southern exposure right here. So this is a hot side of the yard. And then she has been dealing with Bermuda grass in this section. So those are the little patchy spots. And it's just in this one spot, thankfully. But I think she's thinking about maybe taking out more grass so that she just doesn't even have to fight it right there. But there's Nepeta and a rose and some yarrow. And we could go plant by plant. But anyway, we didn't have to worry about this side because this side is rocked. Oh, we even got in between all the raspberries. Tried to cover up the drip tubes as best as we could. Look at this. Well, and of course, everything just looks so nice. She's got some really beautiful things back here. I love the service berry. And this plum came out of our yard at one point. You know, a layer of mulch or compost just helps contrast the plants that you currently have in your flower beds. Instead of seeing, you know, leaves and, you know, drip tube and things like that that can be a little bit distracting, having that compost around each plant just makes each one of them pop. They just shine, and I love it so much. Look down the way. Oh, their grass is looking really nice too. There's a red point maple here. I think that's a red point. I'll have to ask Sue. It's a red point or an autumn blaze. Maybe a red point. I don't know. And a great big honey locust. Now right here, we did dig up the euonymus, and we got the boxwoods out of the containers up front. Got those planted, which I think is a really fun look, and it's fun to have a little bit of a taller evergreen. These were struggling just a little bit in the pots. They had been in there for a really long time. And in fact, we've been down here planting things around them a few times. So I think they'll be happy to be able to spread out their roots a little bit. And then we were here the same year we planted daffodils at my parents' house. We brought daffodils here, and we have some here and up front. And so those are looking really pretty. I cannot believe we're almost to May and they're still happily in bloom. This little corner right here, she's got a little composter, and then the back corner is rocked. Oh, look at that. Look at how clean. These are 3 of the euonymus. I think the variety is Gold Splash, is that right? I have the hardest time remembering varieties sometimes, but we planted those 3 up in the front corner. We redid her front corner flower bed, and we'll be up there in a second to look at it, when we still lived in this house next to him. And we put in a pine that still looks awesome, and I remember getting so many comments from saying that that was the wrong choice around a fire hydrant, and I'm going to go prove to you that it was the right choice. Anyway, Arctic Fire red twig dogwoods went around that, and then these were up front, and things were just getting a little bit too crowded because the dogwoods here, if the tag says 3 to 5 feet, they're probably going to get 6 to 8 feet. They do really well here, and I really didn't take that into consideration. So these were dug up and moved back here, and they look awesome. Look at those. They're just beautiful, and they're beautiful winter interest too. They've just got a really bright variegation. The other euonymus that were back here, where the boxwoods were, those were a type that had a very small leaf, and they were a white green, and they just didn't shine like these did. But you can imagine when this Japanese maple is leafed out how gorgeous this corner is, and you've got the green, the red, the yellow, and the blue all in the right spot. Perfection. Some of the land and sea was a little bit wet, so you can see that there's like some veins of dark compost, and once everything dries out it will be uniform. But we swung all the way around this lilac here all the way to the back of the fence. We got this whole bed done. That looks really nice. And standing on this side, you can see all the compost in this area. There's a hedge of lavender here, and I'm excited to see what she does with this space this year. There's a little strip right here that goes, in front of the boxwoods and then toward the steps. This little area right in here, which this area fills in. There are hostas all over in here. There's a great big yellow blooming peony in here. And some other gorgeous stuff. The Brunners are just stunning right now. Isn't that just pretty? Look at that. So that's the backyard. Let's head up to the other side of the front yard. There's a flower bed that runs right here, and it's a fairly small one. That Arctic Fire red twig, see how big that is? It said 3 to 5 feet on the tag. That fence is taller than I am. I'm 5'4". That's how tall the fence is. That's how tall the plant is. So sometimes you can't trust the tag. Most of the time you can, but sometimes you'll just have something that takes off a little bit more than maybe expected. So that one was up here in this corner, and because it got so big, Sue moved that one into this corner, and I think it fits beautifully. There's an elderberry in this corner and some grasses. This area, she wanted it to be just a little more low maintenance, a little boxwood hedge to kind of mirror the other side over there. And then this is the corner right here. And I can't, I'm trying to remember if this is a compact gem or a mint truffle. But yeah, I planted it here saying that it was not gonna, its mature size was like 3 to 4 feet wide. And so many comments about how it was just horrid that I put it by the fire hydrant. But I would just like to show you some 8 years later, I think, 7, 8 years later, how close it is to the fire hydrant and how much it's taken it over. When the dogwoods were smaller, the euonymus was right in front of them, kind of in between. So you can see how they wouldn't have fit for too much longer together. These make such a nice screening though, plant. And you guys, that is it for today's project. It was so wonderful being in this space, working in the flower beds. I love to be away from home, working in other people's flower beds. It just makes me happy. And mulching, I mean, you can't deny it. Mulching is like one of the best things you can do in a flower bed to make it look just, so good. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a great day, and we will see you in the next one.